vlog this week. Not my usual to post on a Tuesday, but today is January 14th, and that means it is my 1-year YouTube anniversary. I posted my very first video ever exactly a year ago today. And that's bizarre to me because I feel like I just started. Mind you, compared to a lot of YouTubers who have been doing this for years, it is still quite junior, I will be honest. But I thought I would put a video together today kind of covering the journey so far, how I got started, the equipment I use, the editing software that I use, what fuels the content that I do, what I've learned especially. I hope that you enjoy it. I will definitely have some questions for you towards the end of the video, but be sure to comment down below if I do miss anything. To start, I literally watched vlogs for over a decade, starting back in my college years, because I was very busy. I had an almost full-time job, I had a full load of classes, usually 18 to 21 credits, and I was a busy girl who did not have much time for a social life. So at night when I would come home, finally have a minute to do my homework and actually study, I would have a YouTuber on in the background chatting my ear off. Usually it was Estee Lalonde. And then I got into lifting and cardio and all of that, and I'll save you a very long story, but I was stuck in this insanity rut because at one point in college I was dating someone who loved doing the insanity videos, and that was the only workout I could think to do. So I started going to the gym with my roommates, and no idea where to start as someone who had purely done cardio and body weight. So anyway, I turned to YouTube and I found the likes of different bodybuilders and athletes like Nikki Blackketter, Emily Hayden, and dove into their content. Just felt like I was really taking a lot, just digesting all of the information. So I had them, I had Estee, I had Zoe and Fleur de Force and the whole British gang. It's just something that has stayed with me since. And now it's been 10 years since I've graduated from college, and this started towards the beginning of my college degree. So I've really enjoyed watching YouTubers, seeing all the different content, seeing life really through someone else's eyes. And it finally got to the point where I was thinking maybe I could do that, maybe I should give it a try, I don't know. And then one day I just decided that's gonna be it. 2024 is gonna be the year I start vlogging, and you know, if people like it, great. If they don't, all right, it's for me, and here we are. When I started thinking about which equipment I wanted to use, because I know there's a lot of different vlog cameras out there, it was actually one of Fleur's videos where she got a new camera, and it was a white Sony ZV-1, and it looked simple enough to use. And the way that she described it and talked through it and walked through the functionalities, I was like, you know, that's something that I should really look into, is what camera would actually be the best for me. So I did watch several side-by-side comparisons of different YouTubers doing things with GoPros, doing things with Sony cameras, Canon cameras, all the different vlog options out there. And what I really liked about the Sony ZV-1 Mark II, which is what I ended up going with, is that it flips out to the side. So what I'm looking at right now is the camera, and then off to this side is the viewfinder. So I can see myself if I look over here. So I really liked that because the ones that flipped up, it just seemed a bit clunky to me. And then I didn't want something so tiny that you couldn't see yourself either. I liked that I could see the reflection back. And I also liked the way that it was easy to operate. I'm very basic when it comes to using a camera. I didn't want something that had so many bells and whistles I wouldn't be able to figure it out. So Sony ZV-1, it was a good price point. I think I bought it on Amazon last year in very early January for around $800 or $850, and that was just the camera and the little fuzzy windscreen on top of it. I got the memory card and some of the cords that I needed separately, so I'll try to link all that down below if I can find it, if I can go back through my orders and find it for you. But I love it. I've had no regrets, I've had no issues with it. I did drop it a few times, and there was one time, and I think I may have included it in a vlog, where I dropped it and it would turn on but nothing would happen. The screen would be blue. You could hit record, you could hit stop, power on, off, it would make all the same noises, and I just freaked out because I thought I had broken it. And then after a few hours of just letting it rest, I just picked it up just to try one more time because I had a new one in my cart on Amazon, and I turned it on and it magically worked. So here we are, a year later, same camera, and it's been solid. So if you are looking for a great vlog camera, I can actually recommend the Sony ZV-1 Mark II. One small note on equipment is that I have not yet purchased a tripod. You are on a Stanley right now, and generally you are on the inside of a kitchen shelf or on a chair or on a counter or somewhere, maybe a stack of books. I don't think you need a tripod. Maybe if you're more of a out walking, follow me and I need to be able to adjust volume or angles or whatever with my hand, it may be then, but honestly, you don't really need one, even when I'm out and about. I just hold you up next to me and try to avoid staring back at bystanders who look at me like I'm crazy. Moving on to content. Probably the most packed year. It was the most packed year, and that's another contributing factor of why I wanted to start my YouTube channel last year, is because I knew there was a lot coming up. There were several work trips that I had on the docket, like Italy and France, and then going to Geneva. And then I had the rhinoplasty that I knew was going to be really big and that I knew I wanted to make a vlog about. There was our wedding and all of the prep and dress fittings and everything leading up to that. There was just a lot that I knew I wanted to have some memory of, and let's be honest, you can take a million pictures on your phone. How often do you actually scroll back through and look at all of your photos? I thought it'd be neat to include that in the vlog and kind of use the YouTube channel and use vlogging as a way to capture all of that for myself and my husband as well. That was really the fuel for a lot of the content. I didn't go into the YouTube world thinking, okay, I'm going to do beauty vlogs, I'm gonna do my empties videos, I'm gonna do, and there was nothing like that going on up here when I was planning out my YouTube channel. It was purely like, I know there's a lot of interesting stuff coming up for me this year and I want to capture it. I want to put it together, I want to edit it, I want to make it look pretty, and I want to put it on a channel. That's essentially what got me started as far as content goes. Now, have I had a few things like, I'm going to Europe, here's the kind of things I'm going to pack, or here's a makeup look because that's just what I felt like doing that day. That does happen occasionally. Or if I know that I'm going to be traveling and with family and all of that, I'll plan more of a sit-down chit-chat type of vlog. This week is different. You're getting 2 vlogs this week because I've been vlogging and knew that I wanted to do a 1-year recap. Generally, it was more of a let's vlog rather than have specific sponsored content even. That was not something that I came into this expecting. Would it be nice if I had a sponsor or 2? Eventually, but that's not the goal right now. The trickiest part of doing content, I will say though, is if you're in settings where nobody else may even know what a vlog is, a lot of family time together, a lot of being out and about in public. It's very tricky to know when is it appropriate to whip the camera out, when do I feel confident enough to whip the camera out, because sometimes you just gotta do it. Sometimes you just gotta pull it out, take your little clip and be done with it. And if I'm really feeling like this is not the right moment, sometimes I'll just put a video on my phone. That's a lot more concealed, if you will. It's easier to take a video in public with your phone than whipping out an actual point and shoot camera. Just keep that in mind if you are thinking of starting a YouTube channel. It's always a feeling of not wanting to be invasive that prevents me from getting my camera out. We spent the entire Christmas holiday with my husband's family, and I think I did a few clips up in the bedroom. I was by myself, maybe changing or something, and at the end I got home and I was like, all I have is the video of us in the car, a few clips from upstairs, and pictures of the food. There was no opportunity where I could have whipped out the camera and it would have been acceptable, because his sister and her husband were there, other people were there, aunts and uncles, people were visiting all the time. So you just have to be mindful of that. I will say, this lighting is not the best, but I had nowhere else in the house that had decent lighting that I could actually stand to look out the window, because it is very sunny today, so I do apologize. I wanted to move on to talking about editing. I've said so many times since the start of my channel that editing has quickly become my favorite part of all of this. I love sitting down, knowing I'm gonna be there for at least 2 hours editing a vlog. It's like you're creating a masterpiece and you get to use all these little tools and sound effects and all of it. It's so fun to me to do. I started out same way that I chose my camera, went on YouTube, looked up editing software, what is the best, what has the most functionality, what creates the most seamless videos. And several people recommended CapCut to me. So I downloaded a free version and I started poking around with it, and it seemed Simple enough. And after maybe 2 or 3 months of using CapCut to edit my videos, I did upgrade and I got the premium subscription because there were a lot of like transitions or different ways of putting things together that you could do it in the free version, but it was just a little bit better if you had that premium version. And then even with some of the music that I have in the background of my vlogs, again, the premium version had better options, honestly. It's not astronomically expensive. I think, is it $5 or $10 a month? I'll have to look, and I'll put the details in the description box. I love using CapCut, and the most annoying part now, being a year in, is that CapCut doesn't have an option to check for copyright, like in choosing songs. You can type in what you're looking for. If you type in melodic, instrumental, day at the beach, or whatever you're looking for, it drops down, you can listen to it, you can favorite it, but there's nothing on there that says if it's copyright or not. So I don't know, if you use CapCut and you're able to see if it's copyrighted or not, let me know how I can do that, because I have yet to figure that out. Generally, I've figured out certain songs that I know I won't get docked for copyright on, and I've been reusing those, but I know I need to find new ones. Part of my goals for 2025 is to branch out in what I use in my YouTube channels. It's just tricky because you never know when you're gonna get hit for copyright. Or like if I'm making dinner with my husband, he always has music on in the background, which I love, it's great, but it makes vlogging pain in the butt because you know if you have Frank Sinatra on in the background, you're gonna get docked for copyright. I digress. Let's move on to the posting schedule, because this is something that is still being played around with, because if it's a specific day like this where it's, the 1 year anniversary, it was literally January 14th, 2024 that my first video went up. I don't really care about when views are highest or whatever, but I toyed around with it a bit because I've posted on Fridays, I've posted on Wednesdays, I've kind of landed on Thursdays as being when typically if you post in the evening, the views are a little bit more steady, as opposed to Wednesday or like Monday. I find I don't get very many views if I publish on one of those days. I'm still trying to figure that out. It seems like it changes all the time, and I'm not really entirely sure how the YouTube algorithm works in having people watch and like and subscribe and all of that. I'll go very long periods of time with no change in subscribers, and then in 2 days there will be 20 new subscribers, and I'm like, how did this happen? What was the tick that made it increase so rapidly? I don't understand. I'm sticking with Thursdays, and if anything changes as this year goes on, or I get new bits of information on the YouTube algorithm, maybe that'll change. But I just like the consistency of having the same day every week. I know what's coming. I know Wednesday nights I'm going to be on the computer doing lots of editing, and it seems to be working so far. Perhaps what I am most excited to chat about is what I have learned through YouTube. Obviously, operating the camera, doing the editing, how to upload, use YouTube Studio, all of that. But in terms of what I've personally taken away from doing this, it starts with confidence. Because before this, I was not very good at articulating things. It worked in my head, I knew what I wanted to say, and then in trying to communicate with others, I fumbled on my words a lot. And once you watch yourself back a few times, once you start to edit, once you realize, oh gosh, I pause a lot, or I use these little words and phrases a lot, once you learn to edit that together, in real life, it helps you to make those same edits as you're talking. For example, I find that I say things like, a lot. Or if I'm heading out somewhere, I'll say, and I'm off. Or I'm off to do this, I'm off to do this. And most obnoxiously, when I'm describing something like my juicer video, the amount of times I said, and this little thing, and it's got a little filter, and then a little catch for all the discard, and then it's got this little tamper. It's like, stop saying little. Just stop. Being able to self-edit like that has given me a lot of confidence, because when I go visit with customers now, or I'm having a Teams call, I just find that I feel like my speech comes so much more naturally, and that is definitely something that has changed in the past year. It's not something that's been ongoing for several years. I'm very thankful to YouTube for helping me to learn that about myself. It wasn't something that I was even aware that I was doing, which is the most frustrating part, because you might think that you're eloquent, and then you watch footage of yourself talking and trying to get a point across, and you're like, stop saying, it's just stop. That has done wonders for my confidence, and I find that everything else I've learned with it, like the editing, like the operating the camera, all of that. It's given me a boost of confidence of like, I can figure stuff out. It's not as hard as you think it is. So if that is holding you back from putting anything on YouTube, starting a channel, you think, I'm never going to be able to figure it out, you will. You're smart. You can do hard things. Finally, what is coming for the channel in 2025? I do plan to continue vlogging. That was not even a sure thing when I started vlogging. It was going to be a 1-year project. And now that we're continuing on, I want to really grow the channel. I want to try new things, see what works, see what doesn't. But I really want to test myself and see what I'm capable of. I want to add more beauty vlogs. I want to try different makeup looks. I want to see what I can discover and what I can mix up and the different looks that I can create. I want to incorporate more foreign language into my channel. I want to talk about how I'm learning French or the tools I'm using to learn Italian right now. And then most exciting of all is that when I go back to school in May for my master's in nutrition, I want to start a series that addresses being a student as an adult. I think a lot of people are hesitant to go back to school after that initial age 17 to 23 timeframe, because you get to it and you're like, I really don't think I'm going to have time with work, or I've got kids now, or I've got a house to take care of, or I've got all these other things going on in my life that I don't think I could be a student too. And my goal is to show you that you can. Again, I have not started yet, but that would be the goal of this series, is as a 30-year-old, I am going back to school. I am fully committed to my career. That's not going to falter at all. So what kind of tips and tricks and study methods and different things of that nature can I share with you to help you as well? I'm really looking forward to getting started on that series. I'll have to think of a clever name for it. And if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below. It will be a fully online program, so it should be very easy to manage with a lot of the other things I have going on right now. But on top of that, video frequency is something that I've often thought about. I don't want to commit to posting 2 or 3 videos a week. Vlogmas, for example. I really did kind of want to try it, but knowing myself and being kind of a perfectionist, I don't think I would have ever actually posted a daily vlog. I would have said I wanted to, then I wouldn't have, then I would have gotten mad at myself that I didn't, and it just would have not worked. I can't promise that it'll be 2 or 3 or whatever videos a week, but I do want to post more frequently and having a weekly vlog, and then one of these one-on-one chatty type vlogs. Am I biting off more than I can chew? Maybe. But on top of that, the only video that comes to mind that I know I'm gonna do, because the first one is my most popular video, I will do a 1-year rhinoplasty update for you. And that's all I'm gonna say about it right now. But there has been a lot that has happened since my rhinoplasty last March, and I could not be happier with the decision that I made last year to have that done. So that will be coming. That was March 4th of last year. So March 4th, mid-March, I will do a 1-year rhinoplasty update as well. To wrap up the video, I do want to ask what you guys want to see in the channel. What kind of content do you like watching? What kind of content do you want specifically from me? Maybe you're thinking about starting a YouTube channel and you want some advice. Please be sure to ask in the comments below. If I can't answer it, maybe another viewer can. But other than that, please be sure to like and subscribe. If you did subscribe recently or back last January, thank you so much for being here. Your support and your likes and your comments really mean a lot. Be sure to like this video and stay tuned for more.